Welcome to Marvel Movie News, Merry Marvelites. I am Matt Key, and today we are talking about X-Men Apocalypse Civil War, and there was a show. It was just on last week. I think it was called Daredevil. We're probably going to talk about that for a good, 20 hours. So stay right there. We'll be back in 2 seconds.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's Marvel Movie News.
Excelsior to your Merry Marvelites.
Did they go away? Why did they fall down a tunnel?
No, they didn't. I just like starting the show with Excelsior.
Oh, okay.
And Merry Marvelites.
What episode is this?
Skibidi Bop, you want to take a guess?
Is this 75?
75. Happy 75.
Anniversary issue for Daredevil.
Yeah.
I like it.
I mean, it's... Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. No. Cosmic Couch, lively crew today.
Pretty hologram cover this day. Yeah, hologram cover today. Pretty excited about it.
It's a nice, one of those, lenticular covers.
Spider-Man's, green, kind of 3D, but only a little 3D.
Yeah, it's the cover of all of the Fatal Attraction series.
Mm-hmm. It's just us kind of 3D.
By the way, everyone at home listening to our show, read the X-Men Fatal Attraction series.
Mm-hmm. You should do that.
It is so good. It's from the mid-90s. It's fantastic. It's where, if you ever saw Wolverine getting his adamantium ripped out by Magneto and then discovering that he's had the bone claws his entire life.
Whole time.
It's that. Go read it.
Also,
it's 6 issues. It's not long.
Spectacular Spider-Man 100 had that cool cover, and that was the Iron Spider suit, which became very popular from only one issue when he had that armor. Remember the armored spider?
Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
So 75.
Scoo, dropping comic book knowledge.
It does say 74 in the title. We don't know what episode we're on. We're just here for you.
I thought it was 75.
I'm
pretty sure it's 75.
Just make up the numbers.
Pretty sure it's 75.
This
we did the watch along today because it was 75. And
yeah,
it was a watch along.
Episode 100.
Yeah. Yes.
Doom will confirm episode numbers.
Anyway, we are the Marvel Movie News coming to you live from the law offices of Nelson and Murdoch.
Are they closed?
I don't know. We'll talk about it later. But we tell you all the news from all those studios and why you should be as excited as we are. Subscribe to us on iTunes at Marvel Movie News or find us through the Popcorn Talk Network, YouTube.com/Popcorn Talk Network, or their website, popcorntalknetwork.com. Also, you can follow us on Twitter at Marvel News PTN or on Facebook /Marvel News Show. Follow us, like us, leave us comments. We do our best to get around to answering some of those questions. And guys, if you'll tweet the link out to our show with a message telling people about the live chat, Doom in the booth will we tweet you!
Doom is here, but not in the chat.
Doom is leaving after we get to Daredevil and is not in the chat.
Once because of at my covering AfterBuzz's Daredevil after show, I will be taking a short trip to Latveria later in the episode.
Check on his people.
You can find me there.
But we should say, Doom, for those of you who are fans of the voice of Doom, as you should be, you do an after show for Daredevil, and I think you're up to episode 6, correct?
Yeah, we just covered episodes 5 and 6 last night on AfterBuzz TV. And we're having a blast because we're getting into every gritty detail, covering 2 episodes per after show, and
Beautiful.
Just picking it apart at the seams.
And
in
they
a good
do
way.
an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show, which is something that people are upset that we don't have time to cover all the time because we have Marvel Movie News, and half of us don't watch the show.
Yes.
So they take care of that.
Yeah.
We do cover S.H.I.E.L.D. Every week, immediately after it airs on the West Coast at 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Yeah.
We actually had, this week, we had Jim McCann, the comic book writer, who wrote the Hawkeye Mockingbird run.
That's awesome.
In studio, and he talked to us since it was a sort of no spoilers. But they were very heavily involved this week, and his run is being used as much of the basis for Marvel's Most Wanted.
Yeah.
So we talked a little bit about that.
That's awesome.
So AfterBuzz has you covered. Whatever Marvel you follow, we got you.
We got you, Boo. We got you.
Sure.
Is Boo still a word? Do people still? Do the kids still say Boo, or has it become Bay?
Oh, I think Bay is now the.
Is Bay the new Boo?
Yeah. Wow. I feel old just having this moment. Just in this moment.
Bro, YOLO.
Just
YOLO.
I have that yellow shirt that I love
No,
very
you do.
much.
You've got a Marvel YOLO shirt that's fantastic. Anyway, I am Matt Key at the Matt Key. We've got Coy Jandreau.
At Coy Jandreau.
And we've got Jaden LaBelle.
Here I am, Jaden LaBelle. I'm back.
It's true.
Season 1 of episode 84.
Yep,
That's true. That's where we are.
Perfect.
Jaden
And
LaBelle
Meredith joined
is
Hydra.
back.
So Meredith couldn't make it. She's got a Hydra meeting. She's hailing the whole thing.
Hydra.
Meredith had some last minute stuff come up, but she promises that she loves you guys. And she will be back very soon. So anyway, let's dive into it. First, let's start with the Captain Britain thing. So a couple days ago, there was a tweet from a costume designer who was like, "Oh, hey, check out this Captain Britain thing I'm making for TV." And everyone was like, "Oh no, you're making a Captain Britain show? That's awesome!" And honestly, if you think about it, Captain Britain could be like a legitimately cool TV show because like he jumps through different dimensions and stuff like that. Like it could be like, what was that TV show?
Sliders.
Yeah, it could be kind of like Sliders.
Quantum Leap meets Sliders.
Yeah, like not Quantum Leap because he didn't. But he didn't.
Okay, Sliders.
Like Captain Britain doesn't take over other people's bodies and they have to live their life.
Yet.
True enough. I mean, Wolverine could do that.
It's true.
Because he hasn't done it yet.
It's true.
So
Sliders is more apt.
Wolverine and Sliders. Like, yeah. No, so yeah, here's the picture.
Okay.
Like, and it looks really cool. Like, I could see that in a TV show. Like this weird, like, sort of like extra dimensional, like astronaut sort of thing, you know? But yeah, it could be like Sliders meets like X-Men meets Game of Thrones sort of feeling, you know?
We just did a watch along for Captain America, and we're talking about his costume and how they made it work. So if they can make Captain America's Star Spangliness work, they can make Captain Britain's Britannia work.
However, there is no Captain Britain series. So the person, the character designer is legitimately working on this. What it is there's a producer named Chris Lark who is he confirms that he and his co-production Eleni Larshanadu are working on a highlight reel for a TV series based on the character. This is all according to him that they're going to pitch to ABC in 2017.
So basically, Deadpool was like, "Let's make a CG reel, leak it," and they were like, "Let's make a CG rendering, leak it."
Yeah,
and like get early buzz on the thing.
Yeah, so which is smart. Like, why
great.
not? Why not? Like now, because we're talking about it. We're like it worked.
It worked.
We're talking about it. So Chris Lark, good on you. But yeah, they're gonna pitch it to Marvel in 2017. It's nothing yet.
And I mean, it'd be cool if we had like Salak's brother in a show.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I'm into it.
Like,
Yeah.
I would be all about that. Like, I've never been a giant Captain Britain fan, but I loved Excalibur.
I'm very casually a Captain Britain fan, like only through X-Men. Like I don't know the character independent of X-Men, so if it means another X-Men show, into it.
Yeah. So yeah, there you have it. That's the Captain Britain news. So let's jump over to let's see. Let's talk about X-Men Apocalypse. Let's do that. Nothing too new. We just have some cool pictures. Well, first of all, let's cover the Empire stuff. Empire released like 9 or 10 new covers today.
Yeah.
And so we've got like Storm and we've got Archangel there. Let's just scroll through them real quick, Zach, if you don't mind.
That one's so cool. That's straight out of a comic. I love those suits.
All of them have been.
By the way, last week I said there were no comic suits in the movie, and then everyone tweeted me that they have more comic-y suits, and you can see little, like, just this, like, they zoom in faces and just this much of a suit. There's apparently very comic booky suits in X-Men Apocalypse that we just haven't seen yet.
Oh,
I didn't realize
cool.
that.
That's
so
awesome.
Everyone that tweeted, thank you. I'm way more excited, and that's because of you guys, so much love.
So here's the thing I like about these covers, though, is that they pulled like a Jim Lee sort of X-Men thing where, like, you know, like for X-Men #1 where they had like that 4-part cover that all kind of I think they did the same thing here. I haven't tried to piece it together yet, but like you can see like 2 giant hands reaching out for Jean Grey and Professor X, and Apocalypse is like right in the middle.
Pretty cool.
And like you can
neato. Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
It's Nightcrawler. That's so cool.
That's awesome. I love how it takes over the Empire. Like you just sort of like, what's this magazine? Is it Empire?
So good.
Can't tell.
Can't tell. Nightcrawler bamfed in here, like, but like I love like how Nightcrawler look. Like they got Nightcrawler
he looks
right.
great.
He
Yeah.
looks great.
Apocalypse looks great there.
Oh, that's a cool.
Yeah.
It's really interesting that they're just like in your like here, like look at our movie villain. Like they're.
And I like what they did. Like Beast looks cool, but like I love what they did with Cyclops because he doesn't have his glasses on yet. He doesn't have his even in the trailers. Like we've only seen him with glasses, but we don't have him with a visor yet. I think that's something that they're going to have to build and figure out.
Right.
And then we've got Moira McTaggart like standing very casually behind Psylocke,
Wearing
who's
armor,
the enemy.
just chilling.
But you know, Professor X wants to protect his main squeeze. You know, like but.
Who's that behind Beast and Cyclops?
It's Quicksilver, who's running through like 3 or 4 of the covers. I had to look at that a little bit. I was like, wait, that's a guy that we haven't seen yet. Is it like
great.
a snake?
I thought it was really with
see,
her
like,
No, he's running through each of them. Oh,
he's running through a couple of them. Yeah, and there he is at the end. So I'm excited. But there's one more. That one. That's for subscribers only. So if you subscribe to Empire, that's the cover that you get.
That's real cool.
And that like it's Apocalypse and his 4 horsemen walking away from the blown up Cerebro doors, like 5 badasses.
That's
like
real cool.
Like look, it is a played out trope, walking away from an explosion and not caring.
Works
but
every
it's
time.
cool every time.
Dude.
Like, it's just like, oh yeah, you don't even care, bro.
I walk away from bonfires and I feel awesome, and I think it's a controlled fire.
Yeah,
this
no,
is great.
I walk away from a stove cooking spaghetti, and I'm like, yeah.
Yo, gas oven, what up?
Yeah, what up? It's a flame. It works.
Making that ramen.
We'll just show those real quick. I mean,
Can I, while we're on X-Men, can I...
no, please do.
My boy Lucas got cast as MacGyver in the...
Yeah, how cool is that?
Havoc is now MacGyver, and much love to Lucas Till. So stoked for you, bro. And I am excited to see you make stuff out of paper clips.
Yeah, and gum.
And gum. Who knows what else?
You gotta have an
What
adhesive.
other hijinks he might get into whilst not being the Havoc hula hooping. So I'm really stoked for him. And it's totally a tangent, nothing Marvel related, but yeah.
Loosely Marvel related. It's tangential Marvel related.
Those pictures are awesome. I'm so excited. Those Empire covers made me as excited as the last trailer.
Yeah. Well, there's two other pictures to show. One of them we've already seen it from the trailers. It's Apocalypse, like on the high tech sort of look. You know, he's kind of covered in a blue aura. Mm-hmm. If we can pull that up real quick, Zach. I hate to bother you. I know you're doing like 5 or 6 things at once. So let's take a quick look. And by the way, listeners on iTunes, I have not created the Geek Girl Authority webpage just yet. That'll go up later today, but you can see all these pictures on geekgirlauthority.com. So we've got, what I like about it is it looks like it's a high def picture, so we kind of have like a solid look at it. Mm-hmm. I want to know what's going on. Like, is this like him being like
resurrected?
Resurrected?
Yeah.
I think he's being transformed into Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Whether that means
he was like
death or resurrection.
sleeping, and then now they're like he's rising.
And his suit looks like it's going to be formed from like some metaphysical.
His suit. I don't think it's going to be like a
suit.
Yeah, it isn't like equipment. It's like organic. Like it's part of him.
Yeah, I like that.
Explains the weirdness of how it looks and how they make that work.
But is he making it, or is someone else making it? Because
that's the question.
Yeah, like I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued.
So what causes this spiritual awakening? Because he's very it's got like this religious sort of a background to it, like where it's like, okay, so what happened? Was this a man occurrence, or was this or is there an element of like this the like mysticalness like
or like an alien tech like
or alien technology, because absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I'm curious, like you said, if he's controlling it or if it's controlling him.
Yeah,
I'm very curious about
very interesting.
Which perspective it's from. And either way, I was doubting Apocalypse. I kept doubting it. The imagery and the more authentic photos we get, obviously they're going to CGI augment this character. It looks better and better. I'm more and more excited. Thanks, Fox.
And again, we talked about it last week, where this is really cool because this is. I keep looking up and I can't either confirm it, but so far what I found, this is going to be the first woman-created supervillain to make it to the big screen, which I think is so
cool.
awesome. Yeah,
and he's a great character. And
just a solid. Yeah,
I mean, he's one of the X-Men's biggest bads.
Yeah, and it gives us the scope of a movie we haven't really seen yet in Marvel. We haven't had a full apocalypse. We haven't been full into the world yet. Yeah, we've come close, but I mean, it's not just Sokovia, it's not just New York, it's the world.
It's the entire world.
So that's exciting.
Well, I mean, we had Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer, where Fart Space Cloud was gonna eat.
We didn't have. There's no Fantastic Four movie.
What's that?
There's never been a Fantastic Four movie.
Wait, what?
There's none of them.
There haven't been 3?
No.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty excited.
No, there haven't been 4?
No, they're working on them. They're working on making one. They're working on... Those 4 don't exist. They're not fantastic.
What if, though, you woke up this morning and the Fantastic Four franchise never existed? Like, you woke up and they're just like, wow, finally, Fantastic Four is going to be in a movie.
This fever dream about 4 awful movies, just like, Michael B. Jordan, you're better than this. What are you?
Like Captain America, you wake up and we're just like, I'm like, good morning, Matt Key. Like, how are you?
Not Fantastic Four's playing on that. I'm like, wait, where is this? Where am I?
It's like, I know it existed because this was playing in the background. I'm like, we got a code red. Like,
we got a code red.
There's a glitch in the Matrix. But then we can make a good Fantastic Four.
And then I punch someone through a wall, but it doesn't work because I'm not strong enough to punch anyone.
You're like, no, it's still a wall. You're not.
Everything's changed.
And like, I punch them in the face and they're still like, there's like
this all started because Fantastic Four doesn't exist.
Yeah. Anyway, but let's go to the next picture. Sorry for the tangent. Let's go to the next picture of Angel. It is a. I'm confused by the picture because no, not that picture.
That was
this
so
one.
cute. That was such a cute thing to accidentally look on.
It was like the wings.
Yeah, it was adorable.
Like, all right.
this is like so like Sid Vicious punk.
Yeah.
Like Angel. Like I love that.
He looks
like
so cool. Those wings look amazing.
Yeah, those look like pigeon wings, not angel.
He looks amazing. Yeah, those pigeon wings are...
Those pigeon wings
Arc
are solid.
Yeah.
Punk rock pigeon, I'm for it.
punk rock pigeon.
I think that was a superhero in
Hashtag.
the 80s. Punk rock pigeon probably existed.
Yeah, he was running with Howard the Duck.
And
yeah.
Rocket Racer.
Yeah, and Rocket
Hypno
Raccoon.
Hustler. All them teaming up.
And Pace Pop Pete. I think that's cool. Like, and it gives like such a weird like texture to the 80s film because we haven't really seen like punk was huge in the 80s. We haven't really seen
That's true.
a punk like character. So and like I don't know like that. He has such a complete. Oh my god! Well, no, he's in the pin fighting Nightcrawler here.
Right, but if he goes to a Dazzler concert at some point,
This guy would never go to a Dazzler concert.
we don't know how Dazzler.
Jubilee would go to a
He
Dazzler
could be like
concert.
Kidney Thieves,
Yeah.
man. They could have like Kidney Thieves hard chick, like like the There's some flavor in them. We don't know Dazzler's music. Have you heard Dazzler? She doesn't exist.
Wait, she's not a real person? Like Doctor Strange?
Let's call Dazzler up. Settle this right now.
Anyway, I like these pictures. These pictures are great. So
I love this picture of Angel. It's the first picture of Angel where I feel completely confident. I was excited for Angel before. This is the first one that cements like, yes, for me.
there's just like so much grit and texture to the character, which I haven't seen in the trailers yet. Like, because we always see him as Archangel. This is an angel that, this angel, I see him siding with Apocalypse. Like, this
This one
angel's like...
fell from heaven and hit every branch.
Nice. Nice.
And I'm glad we get metal and organic wings. I knew we did, but the more I see them both, I'm more excited about them.
Yeah.
That's
like,
pretty punk rock, too.
Yeah. And, like, Archangel's kind of like a tragic character. Like, he was kind of like the innocent bazooka-carrying boy, like, from the team. And then, like, he gets his wings, like,
He was
chopped
just
off.
he was a Boy Scout with his bazooka and then
Bazooka-wielding Boy Scout.
just in the wrong place at
Bazooka
the
Boy
wrong
Scout.
time.
Yep, it happens to the best of us.
Hashtag Boy Scout Bazooka.
No, but I really think that's what makes a good villain, though, too, is someone that isn't just like I'm a bad guy, and like this is, and sometimes comics are written like that because they didn't, because they were originally written for children, let's say, and so maybe at some point some people didn't realize that children could understand like complex storylines and like well thought of, and villains not being just like the sense of like I'm doing it for like greed or power.
Yeah.
It's like this person's like obviously a very complicated person and is in that situation because of that, and that's what's really cool.
Well, I
about
guarantee we've
his
all been
story
villains
arc.
in someone's story arc at some point.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, we as people have all been someone's archenemy for at least a minute. Like, we've all done
now
something
it's this person's
and
turn.
it's cool to see, like, characters have depth.
Yeah, and like I'm excited, like because everyone that is a horseman, with the exception of Magneto, is actually like a hero. So like in the comics, so I'm excited to see if like there's redemption, if like all the
After
horsemen eventually come around, because like I want to see like future X-Men movies with like Psylocke and Archangel, like in
absolutely.
Storm, So
And even Magneto has like that, still has that those redeeming qualities that make you like when he gives his speech about why he is. You kind of go. Oh, yeah. You have to like you're with the character, but you're like fighting that urge.
He's leading the Uncanny X-Men right now, and it's a great title.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised how good
it's
Uncanny
really
X-Men
good.
is.
All right, let's jump over to Marvel Studios and talk Captain America real quick.
All right.
What?
Wes YouTube's getting a hashtag punk rock pigeon tattoo.
Yeah, let's get that started. Punk rock pigeon.
Yeah.
Punk
guys.
rock pigeon.
Billy Idol loves that band.
Yeah, they're his favorite. They're his favorite. So there was a new international trailer that came out for Captain America Civil War this morning. Radically different from everything we've seen.
All new footage.
Just
the
brand
entire
new.
third act was given.
Just like they were like, "Hey, what's up? Here's Giant Man, and he's juggling jeeps and
Spider-Man's
Spider-Man.
there.
Like it's amazing." No, we're just kidding. The new international trailer shows no new footage.
Only reason I watched
except for the Jeremy Renner, Scarlett Johansson. Exchange. I don't even remember who says what, but like one of them's like, "Are we still friends?" And it's like, "Depends on how hard you hit me."
Which is already a scene that they leaked at not leaked,
not
but
leaked, but
revealed.
they showed it at D23.
Right.
Yeah, so like that scene has already been seen. So like
it's all
like it's new footage for those of us who weren't at D23.
which is really cool way to handle marketing because everybody's already gonna see that movie.
Yeah, everyone's already like this is already gonna make $1 billion. You know? So
just
like
count on it.
Yeah. But like it's cool. Like I enjoy it. I was like, oh, that's that scene I haven't seen. I like it.
It's fun to revisit a trailer you've seen 90% of the footage or 99% of the footage of and just be happy again.
Yeah,
because it's still a good trailer.
Yeah. We'll probably get one more trailer like about 2 or 3 weeks out.
Yeah.
And we'll see Giant Man's foot. I'm calling. We're gonna see Giant Man's foot.
Now, Civil
that's all we're gonna
War.
see of Giant Man. But we're gonna see his foot just into the
Do you
camera.
feel like Civil War is the time for Doctor Strange? Think we're gonna get a trailer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
It makes sense. It's their biggest thing before.
Well, but it's the only thing that they've got before Doctor Strange. Like, no, Doctor Strange comes out in November of this year.
Right.
And unless they put Doctor Strange and Luke Cage, perfect fit.
Street level thug.
Yeah, street level
Doctor
thug.
of mysticism in it.
Yeah.
They're neighbors.
I fight street thugs and like 100-foot demons.
Cool.
You
It's
know,
cool.
like whatevs.
Quirky roommates, like just
Crazy hijinks.
Luke Cage like stays at the Sanctum Sanctorum. He's like, oh god, he's always awake.
Doctor Strange is like, turn down the Tupac. I'm causing this mysticism.
I can't concentrate with your rap music. Those darn kids.
So like steps in his tiara, like.
I mean, they could just like have like a neighbor conflict. Like I'd like to see like that's the angle they could like no, we're not gonna play to any of their strengths.
Yeah, we don't see Doctor Strange actually being mystic. We see him as like a grump, like get off my lawn.
Cumberbatch.
Yeah, curmudgeon Cumberbatch.
Curmudgerbatch.
Cumudgerbatch.
It's hard for all of us.
Yeah, it's
Hashtag Curmudgerbatch.
Cumbumberbatch. No, to answer your question, Doctor Strange, here's what I want to see. I want to see Scarlet, and I've already said this. I want to see Scarlet Witch's powers like coming to her, but her starting to realize that maybe there's a little bit more mysticism to it than just like kind of like straightforward telekinesis, as straightforward as telekinesis could ever be.
Of course.
But like telekinesis, like I can move things with my brain. Yeah.
Of telekinesis.
Yeah, but like I wanted to realize that there's like a more like a wild chaos magic sort of element to it, and for like Iron Man or Captain America or someone to be like, well, we might know a guy.
Yeah.
And then
cool.
to see her
that's cool.
like
Yeah.
in like an
post-credit
end credit sort of like a post credit scene, and which
There's 3.
It's rumored that there's 3. There's not confirmed that there's 3, but right now it's rumored that there's 3 post credits. And if that's true, and there's 3 of them, one of them like if one of them is Doctor Strange, I think there's going to be writing not just from me. Like I think the world is like, no, we want to like this guy. We want to see that. We've seen pictures. We've got comics, but we're not reading them.
I mean, it's only a few months, man. Made in November.
No, exactly. So, like, I think they've got to get it out there.
Yeah.
You know, so I really think that one of the post credits would be Scarlet, like Doctor Strange,
Pretty
at least.
exciting, man.
You know, and we like in Winter Soldier, we got the mention of like Stephen Strange, you know, along with like some kid in Idaho or whatever it was, you know, Amadeus Cho. So like. It's not outside of the realm of possibility.
I'm excited. It's coming. May is around the bend.
Yeah, I really want to see a post credits where like Scarlet Witch walks into the Sanctum Sanctorum and she's just like confused. She's like, "What?"
It's a great way to title in.
Like, what the flip is this place? And she just like walks in and she kind of like walks into the inner sanctum of the Sanctum Sanctorum, and she's the giant the Sanctum, the inner Sanctum, and like the Anomaly Rue is behind him, and he's just like reading his book, and she's like, "Oh, hello." I've been expecting
That'd be
you,
so
Wanda.
awesome. She's definitely a character that I want to know like more about. Like she's I've always liked that character for sure. And like that I didn't even think of that. Like they put her at the end of it.
Like how cool would that be? And then like all of a sudden you've got like this incredible like now like it's like what is she doing? Like what is her thing? Like now like you're even more intrigued, and like the next time we see her is going to be in the Infinity War stuff, and it's like now you're pulled in. Like now you're like even more invested in her story than you were. 'Cause you're like, what the F is going on with her? So
I think you guys are spot on with putting her in Doctor Strange, at least a Doctor Strange reference in the post credits. Mainly, and you know that actually gives me so much hope for Civil War. If I had any reservations, it's because one of the things I thought that Age of Ultron sort of one of its faults was all the tie-ins and the setups for Infinity War, for Ragnarok, for all that. But if they're going to have 3 extra like post-credit scenes, that means they're not going to waste time during the movie setting up next phase stuff.
Because there's already so many characters.
Yeah, there's so much already going on. Like I want to see this movie. I want to see this story. I want to see Captain America's side of this story. You know, and I think maybe they learned their lesson in Age of Ultron.
I think so. We'll see.
You know, and what a terrible lesson they had to learn to make $1 billion, like with a movie that, like, at worst is a B.
Yeah, it's still a great time.
You know, it's still a fun movie. You know, like it just had a couple more hiccups than we expect from Marvel.
It's not Deadpool.
You know,
but
dude, Deadpool like is like surpassed Guardians.
Yeah, man. It's right at 750.
That's insane.
Oh, I know. I just geek out 6 days a week, not here, because I got too excited here all the time, and people are like, "Ooh, Luke's Deadpool." No, it's amazing all the time.
Yeah, wow.
It's real life, you guys.
Right, well. All right. Well, let's move on. So beyond the trailer, we've also got Joe Russo calling Civil War a love story, which I think is interesting. He says, what's fascinating about the Cap Bucky story as well is it's a love story. These are two guys who grew up together, and so they have that same emotional connection to each other as brothers would, and even more so because Bucky was all Steve had growing up. Then he goes on to say, is he good or is he bad? Talking about Captain America and Bucky, I think. Steve has to answer that. Or no, sorry. Is he good? The pronoun is referring to Bucky. Is he good or is he bad? Steve has to answer that question for himself. And there are other characters in the movie who hold the opposite point of view. It becomes a very explosive. It incites a lot of conflict. So, like we've all said and guessed, like Bucky is kind of like the linchpin of this bomb going off. Where, Captain is like, no, he's a good guy.
Trust me, he's just done some bad things.
He's done some bad things, but that even then, that wasn't him. Like, he was brainwashed, he was used. Like, he didn't know who he was until a year ago, But then I also think, like when he says other characters in the movie who hold the opposite point of view, I don't think Iron Man thinks that Winter Soldier is bad necessarily. I think that he believes he's at the center of something and needs to be brought to justice to be looked at and whatever else. I think Black Panther is probably the one he's referring to, like, who thinks he's evil and bad. Yeah. And I think that's why Black Panther gets pulled into it.
So excited for Black Panther. Every time I watch that trailer, that's oh my God. Spider-Man's the obvious, but Black Panther is during the trailer just like, gah.
Yeah. No, yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, all right, Doom. It is time for you to leave, sir, because we are about...
Before we go Daredevil...
Yeah.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
Wow, we've got
lights!
We've got
Spoiler
lights!
alert!
That's just my hair reflecting off the walls.
Briefly, right before we go to Daredevil, leaving the spoiler alert now, we just heard Gary Shandling has passed away, which is sad. So I wanted to send positive vibes, thoughts, love to his and his family and loved ones and friends, and it's sad. So rest in peace, Gary Shandling.
Thank you.
No Daredevil.
Yeah.
I just said before we go.
No, that's really good.
It's going to be a whole thing.
I mean, let's all give him like a really solid Hell Hydra,
Hell Hydra.
A
loving Hell Hydra.
That was perfect. Like, it was perfect for him, and like he did such a good role as the senator who was always giving the heroes a hard time.
Yeah. So just a little Marvel love for that.
Yeah, that sucks. It's been a tough year for celebrities.
Jesus.
Thanks a lot, 2016.
Putting in work. But Daredevil.
But how about that Daredevil,
though? Back up. Holy
my God! All right.
Words I can't say on this show.
All right, so let's. Well, first of all, you have not 100% finished it.
I have not, and I've willingly volunteered myself to be spoiled upon.
But you have seen enough of it that you're gonna be like, hey, here's what I think so far and everything else. Okay.
Absolutely.
Good. All right. So, best moment so far that you've seen.
Wait, you should start with you because I've seen all the moments. Okay,
so he's seen all the moments, so he gets that's not he gets the grab bag of moments, and I get
twice the moments.
Okay,
but
so
you've seen
you know what though,
you've seen
I feel
half
like
the season.
Okay, so I feel like this is regardless of if seeing it all or not, this is still going to be my favorite moment. Is the scene where he's carrying the Punisher through the hall and he's fighting literally more than a dozen. After being chained up and already just gone through, just dragged to the dirt, has been knocked. I counted. He was knocked out 3 times.
Yeah.
He gets knocked out 3 times, and then he doesn't have his little nunchuck things anymore.
Yeah.
Which me and Coy talked about. I hate that weapon. It's what's the point of having those things?
Elsewhere. By the end of the season, you won't. You'll see.
Okay, so I get, but I mean, half the time, even at the end of the first season, it's what's the point of having those if you're gonna get beat up with your own weapon? That's lame. That sucks. But the best weapons that he's had so far is a chain that's stuck to him and a gun that's taped to his hand that is literally duct taped to his hand.
Yeah.
And he's beating people left and right with it and using the chain to lasso people.
I love the chain.
And it was so cool. And they do this weird, it's not really a tracking shot, but kind of it's sort of where he's going down the spiral staircase.
No, the stairwell fight,
Yeah, it was up into everything, all of it, just going, and it just kept it was it almost felt like a Too Many Cooks. It just kept going.
More.
It just kept getting. I was I was exhausted sitting on the couch eating peanut butter with a spoon, watching it.
I had a cool moment during that scene where, dude, Brewster, man, dude. So I tweeted out, that's like the third episode, I think. I tweeted out, I'm 47 minutes late, but now it's time, because I didn't start watching it till 12:47. It dropped at 12. Like 3 hours into me watching it, I had gotten to that point, and I'm on Twitter like a douche when I'm watching things sometimes, but in that scene, I just like stopped, and I was like so invested. And the whole time I was like, that's Brewster's killing it. How did they talk? Yeah. And like, he liked my tweet that I had posted 3 hours before while I was watching that scene, and I was just like, I was thinking of you, brother. You did so good. And it was this amazing moment of like, you're the man. Like, dude, just the stunts in this show are just, and every aerial kickflip I knew was you, man. So tip of the hat. The ninja stuff was just so good this season. Like every time that was in like any aerial attack, it felt like a comic.
That's so cool. You know what? In the fact that you don't realize that there are those people, it shows how good they are. Because like in my head, that was the actor doing it. Like I'm like, I didn't even think for a second like that's someone else really putting like.
Well, Charlie Cox did a lot.
Yes, exactly. Yes, he did. He did a lot too. But like I didn't even think for. My mind never left the fantasy.
2 decades of ninja training come into play. When
I was like, that's really I think the beauty of that is not noticing it.
And it's such a good
them
job.
Doing the greatest job.
And that scene for me was I love the love note to themselves for season 1, and I love that they upped their game, but it didn't feel pandering. It just felt awesome. And for me, you haven't gotten to it yet, but a scene that rivals that scene action-wise is the prison scene. There's a scene with the Punisher in prison that
I'm seeing people starting to kind of talk about it, so I'm excited to hear more.
Oh my god!
What episode do I have to wait to get into that?
I think it's like 8 or 9. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm getting there.
John Reader Jr. like drew a violent prison break in my brain, and that was that scene. Like it was this graphic, rough, visceral Frank Miller Jr. Like it's art, but violent art. And then as far as emotionality, the only scene that I feel like that people haven't talked about that I love, there's the rooftop scene, there's the hospital scene, there's the judge scene, there's all those scenes. But the diner scene for me was the most
with Punisher and Karen Page. Yeah.
When he's talking about love and talking about like taking love by 2 hands, and like he's got this emotionality and this rawness and this visceral like. I felt Punisher's love for his family and his wife so much more there, and then he ends it with like the most badass line ever, like. You need to get in the back, blah, 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 blah. And then she's like, what, why, who? And he's like, just a couple of guys who are about to come to a diner for the last time. Yeah. And I was like, oh! Because it was like love and affection and Punisher, and then he was just like, by the way, still a badass.
Punisher's had some really good one-liners, too.
It was so good.
Like, you would never think he wasn't the main character.
Yeah,
well,
he really...
So I just want to throw this out here. One of my favorite moments, not the best moment, but one of my favorite moments, like a moment that like really resounded with me, and I don't even know why, was Foggy Nelson talking, like giving the opening statement where like, because Matt hadn't shown up, Matt's letting them all down and everything, and he's like, screw it, I've got to do it, I've got to do this, and it's good, like he's very good, and like, there was this is so nerdy, I just feel so bad for Foggy Nelson, like I love the moment where he like just takes on the DA, where she's like, no, you're off the case. And he's like, oh, okay, cool. Hold on, I've just got to find this phone. Like, yeah, Foggy Nelson, get her!
And calls.
Oh, like, yeah, and he's like, no, let me spell that for you. Like, oh, no, but then it totally, like, when then they get screwed ultimately by them, and that, like, it just, like, stung all that. I was like, did she know the whole time? Like, I was like, I felt upset.
I love how much we I'm not taking credit. We all knew how good John Bernthal would be. Yeah. But I remember tweeting, I probably Colpino, tweeting like, I knew how good he would be, but I didn't know that Punisher could be this. Yeah. I didn't know the character could be this exciting. I didn't know like the realm of Punisher could be this enticing. Because I've always liked the character casually. John Bernthal made that character like, that was on par for me, Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool, Tony Stark, Downey Jr., and Heath Ledger's Joker. That for me was in that realm of top.
Oh, he was the definition of that character while also redefining the character.
And that was amazing.
Because the Punisher was like, in my opinion, the best part of Daredevil season 2.
Yeah.
Like hands down.
And no one else was bad. It was
he was just that good.
He was transcendent.
And it was just like I want to see him like kick as much ass as possible, and I want to like he kicks ass the exact same way that Daredevil does, but it's he kills.
It's definitive.
You know what? They did this interesting thing, and I have a question actually too. Maybe you guys can help form an opinion about it. Okay. You know what? I remember Daredevil not being such like a nice guy. Like he seems nicer when like they made him like a nicer character in the Punisher. Punisher seems pretty true to the Punisher character, but Daredevil seems more of like the good guy, and I feel like he was like an anti-hero kind
of. In the comics?
Like, even just comic books or even the first movie.
I think they had to make him a little lighter because of Punisher to have the contrast.
So
because Frank Miller writes Daredevil like a douche. Like, when you read a Frank Miller Daredevil, you're like, I don't know if I like Matt Murdock very much.
That's why I was like, that's how I kind of remember. I was like, okay, wait a minute. Like, he seems a little too good guy.
It depends on the writer. The writer definitely varies, but I thought he was nicer this season because the contrast of Punisher. And there's that beat with the Punisher where he wasn't going to kill that guy until he tries to sell him kitty porn. Do you have you gotten there?
So that was
oh.
I love that scene too. That made me. I don't know if you guys are comic book readers at all, but so it made me really think. I literally got this sense. I literally screamed it at the TV. If you guys read Saga at all, he was like the Will. The
yes, that's exactly. Oh, that's such a good call. Yeah,
that's what I felt. I was like the Will, and I literally the Will, and I got so excited, and I was like, cool, because there's like an extra scene, and there's a part in the comic where he's on a planet that has stuff like that, and like someone like offers him like a 12-year-old girl, and he smashes his brain with his hand, like his head, he just goes like clap and like claps the dude's brain, and I was like, that I literally had like those feelings of like where they made him so likable with that scene where you're like, oh, he's going to the skeezy dude, and then he's like, but he himself isn't a bad dude, he's just trying. And when I was reading more about the Punisher, and if you really read into like the philosophy of the creator who got way into like where the Punisher is sort of like, regardless of his journey, good or bad, it's the path that he's decided to take. Yeah. And I thought that was so cool. And I was like, wow, there's really a lot of redeeming things about the Punisher, who is, I guess, supposed to be the unlikable character, but I love him.
He was like, and
he's the best part of season 2.
You'll get to a point where Matt's not less nice. Like a Shiny Diver mentioned, like Matt gets way less nice by the second half of the season. So you'll get to more of the Frank Miller, Matt Murdock as you progress. And I also loved. I liked Elektra more than I expected, because I didn't know, but I didn't love her until the size, I feel like. So it took me a little bit to warm up to her, but once I did, I was like, this chick's amazing. Like, the whole episode with him in the skyscraper was... There are more scenes in this that I loved than most shows ever get to have in one season. Like, this had... I can name, like, 40 different action set pieces that were perfect. Yeah. I tweeted out, and people are going to disagree, but with this season, I think Daredevil is my single favorite franchise that Marvel's put out.
I haven't been introduced to Elektra, so I'm gonna like take a step back on that one. But like, so far it sounds like good things.
It's awesome. I mean, because Captain America: Winter Soldier is my favorite, but I like this more than Cap 1, and Guardians of the Galaxy's only had one installment. So I'm giving Daredevil the pinnacle for me. With season 2, Daredevil I think is the best thing Marvel's created.
I think one of my favorite Elektra moments, and we saw it in the trailer. One of my favorite moments was like they beat all those ninjas.
So many ninjas.
And then she pulls the mask down. She's like, hungry? Mm-hmm. Like, she's out of breath, but she's excited. She's having a good time. They like, I mean, there are times where she kind of like dips into kind of being a little boring sometimes. Mm-hmm. But the times where she works, like, at least for me, like, it's like, oh, no, that's absolutely Elektra, you know?
Yeah.
Is she true to her comic self, or would you say truer to the movie version of herself?
She's not Jennifer Garner.
She's definitely not Jennifer Garner.
Good. I'm glad. So far, the best Elektra yet.
She's definitely the best
we
Elektra
didn't set the bar too high for her to
That's
begin
true.
to hop over.
Yeah.
So.
Like,
but she did set the bar high herself. She's made a good Elektra, and I feel like I mean, there was no real precedent, but she really, I think, made a great love interest for Matt, a love interest for Daredevil, and made a compelling villain for the future.
Yeah, because, like, well, I mean... I don't want to talk about the ending.
Okay, we don't have
to. No, but I
don't
feel like we need to.
Because I'm not here. I'm like sitting here giving him these doughy eyes, like,
don't do it.
Just like I'm so excited to talk about Daredevil. I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna like
that first half.
Yeah.
I love the ninjas and the sheer amount of them. I love that at any point I was like, oh, the one had more. There's 100 more ninjas.
Yeah.
Like, it felt like a comic because. Another tweet that made me really happy this moment was I went to bed at like 4 a.m. after watching so much Daredevil, and the last thing I saw before I fell asleep was just foot soldiers climbing a hospital wall, like out of my childhood dreams, and I was just like, I'm so happy that I'm alive right now. Like,
I'm glad you were able to sleep. All right, like
it was the best. I got to be like tucked in by ninjas.
Dude, honestly, like that scene of them scaling that wall is directly out of a comic.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Like, it is so well like shot and executed and everything else, and like them attacking the hospital, the way that they framed those kids and how they were all standing together, like those kids, like, okay,
creepy ghost kids.
Creepy ghost kids.
They're gonna get to creepy ghost kids.
What?
All right.
I still don't know what's going on with them.
We won't until Iron Fist. I think.
You think it's going to be Iron
I
Fist?
didn't like that they named the kid Daniel. The kid that was trapped, the son of the guy that he blackmailed, they're like, my son, Daniel. And I was like, that's not Daniel Rand, I'd be real pissed. And that wasn't, I was like, why is his name Daniel?
No, I think it's just Daniel.
There's a lot of names out there. You could have used any other name. Because I was expecting Danny Rand.
I don't think that was on purpose.
You know how many white boy names there are in the world? Lots.
Yeah.
Use another one.
They chose
Pick
Daniel.
any other.
It's the one time I was upset.
What if it wasn't even supposed to be a name? They're just like saying he's Daniel, my
he
son.
He doesn't know Danny Rand is a thing.
Yeah.
But it just felt like this weird false lead, and that was kind of
Oh, dude, I didn't get that at all. I think you're a fool.
Fine. I gave the show an A+. My one foible is a name, and you're like, nope, wrong.
You're a fool, sir.
So good.
Fool. All right, so let me ask you this. Which was the best? Stairwell fight or jailhouse fight?
I'm a little biased here.
Yeah, you haven't seen a jail.
I have to give it to Jailhouse only because the chain was in the stairway fight.
Yeah.
The chain was
Thank you.
bananas.
I was hoping he'd keep the gun strapped to his head. Like, I hope the next
the rest
episode,
of the show.
he's just like, this is fantastic.
That's that iconic cover, that No More Mr. Nice Guy Daredevil cover. He covered him the gun strapped to his hand. So at one point they framed it with that moment, and I was like, damn it! Oh, man. Tied for first. Punisher is a different thing. So the violence of the Jailhouse fight was this beautiful dark artistry, whereas the action of the stairway fight was its own choreographed dance. It's like comparing a delicious pizza with a fine parfait. You know what I mean? There's brutality and there's art. There's
parfait.
Yeah.
That sounded like both those things in my brain separately. I was like, okay, pizza, yeah. And you put them together, and I hate everything about Daredevil in that one moment.
Pizza's prison fight. Parfait is and they're very different animals.
Which one was the parfait?
Parfait was the prison. It was the stairway fight because you're savoring.
Well, I can't wait to see this jailhouse fight if that's pizza over a parfait.
It gets real pizza, you guys.
I would if I only got one, but so here, if you could only have one of those.
That give you a clear answer? Did that help you?
Not at all.
Hashtag pizza versus parfait.
What?
Charles Lee tweeted hashtag pizza versus parfait.
Can that be a new segment? Just a little part of pizza or parfait for you? I'm gonna go pizza on this one.
Is this pizza or parfait for you? Do you want to linger on this, or do you just want to chop down?
I want the alliteration so bad.
It's our new favorite game show where it's time to play pizza or parfait.
Pizza v parfait. You can only have one: stairwell fight or jailhouse fight. Which one do you have in the season?
I think that the Punisher fight gives us more because it is the first time we see Punisher fully unleashed, and I also prefer pizza to parfaits.
All right, sure. We almost got through a cognitive answer. I think that's as close as we're gonna get, Matt.
Yeah, I think so too. I would say jailhouse.
The chain is real close. Ugh.
Dude, no, the chains are. Look, the stairwell fight is amazing. They're both A+. This is just a matter of how does it serve the narrative, everything else.
It's a matter of pizza versus parfait.
I've seen Daredevil do an amazing hallway fight scene. I want to see Daredevil do amazing hallway fight scenes all the time.
Right.
I want that in every episode.
What if it was in a stairwell in the jail? What if we just
and it was them teaming up against twice the goons.
We take the pizza, we take the parfait, and we
put it on each
smash
other.
them together.
Pizza flavored parfait, perhaps.
Whoa, stop it, Coy. Stop it, now I'm scared.
But
anyway.
the jailhouse fight just had a brutality to it that I think Daredevil kind of needed to give it that just a bit more edge. I mean, that was a bloody, awful, gruesome fight.
And he's just covered.
Well, the other thing is that Daredevil, you're expecting to beat just the living crap out of the bikers. You know that the bikers are tough. You know that they're going to be hard to beat.
Right.
But you're expecting them to have their asses handed to them by Daredevil. Punisher, you're I don't know. They actually he may get a couple of good looks in, but
right, you don't know.
There's some stakes to it. There's some stakes to it where you're you really fully see Punisher in that moment where he doesn't need a gun.
Right.
He's good with guns.
That's true. That's a very good point because sometimes you feel okay, you take that Punisher's nothing without his gun.
Yeah.
And but that's not true.
Now,
but what about that fight in the doctor's office between the two gang members, and one's holding a syringe and one's holding scissors.
What about that fight that never happened?
And he just talks them down using his lawyer power.
Foggy fight.
His
That's how Foggy
super
fights.
Yeah.
His Foggy uses his lawyer powers, the power of attorney.
The power of LLC.
The POA.
I liked the other hallway fight scene where it was like this wide shot and Daredevil would kind of like rush in from the sides and it was all like silhouettes. Every time there was a hallway, I was like, oh.
That was one of my favorite moments where you see those guys in silhouette and you just see Daredevil walk by really fast and just like tink.
Yeah.
And they're like, what was that?
Now,
and then he like, as one of them looks, he just like Scooby-Doo door, like just attacks.
Wait,
like,
so he took out the light again?
Oh, a lot.
Can we talk about that? Can we talk?
lot.
Was that originally? Maybe the fans can help us with this. Was that originally a Batman move or a Daredevil
He's blind,
move?
so he
yeah,
had
but I
the
mean, I feel like,
advantage.
wait, who did that first though? Who done it?
I think Daredevil makes more sense to do it.
But probably Batman. Batman's been
Okay, I'm glad that I
longer,
split us down the middle here.
Well, Batman's been around since the 40s.
Yeah, but like when
Or 39
when
or
was
something.
like hitting like when was that move? That probably wasn't around
41.
before. Right.
He snuffed out the old
I
lights.
kept thinking, I was like, he keeps doing that. I feel like I've seen that somewhere. Whenever I've seen that, and you know, I'm a Marvel girl through and through. But
I don't know which, but
yeah, I don't know.
I loved the character I loved most this season. That surprised me was how much I freaking loved Gladiator,
Melvin Potter.
Melvin Potter. He was amazing,
dude.
The scene
That guy was amazing.
When he gets oh my god, it was like. You're not there yet. There's
no, I'm just watching like, oh, Coy's making funny noises again. I was like, is he having a stroke over there?
Yes.
Daredevil causes strokes.
No,
and he gets a weapon that's very iconic, and they set up the weapon as much as they set up the costume in season 1, and it's as big of a payoff, and I got as excited as I have about anything.
No, when they're like, and like he pulls it out and you see the string in and everything, I was just like, oh yeah. Oh
and
my
he
god!
Uses it amazing.
And then he uses it as he does in the comic books, and you see him swinging around and everything. You're like, oh yes, we are there.
Oh, we're talking about when the weapon becomes good.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It gets good.
Okay, because Coy knows and Matt knows a little bit that I was complaining about Daredevil's weapon because it felt, you know,
it's awesome.
I will stop myself because. Apparently, just get my foot out of my mouth here. Apparently, it gets good.
No, it gets really good. No, dude, Melvin Potter
stole every scene from me.
No, every single time he was in it, and like he was like, there's still something so like sad about how dumb he is.
It's so innocent, man.
Like there's such a this I love the innocence of this character who's like brawny and could take like half of the population of Earth in a fight.
Gotta protect
I
Betsy.
just gotta protect Betsy.
And
thank you, Fire the Animal.
Rereading the what's it called comic, the Frank Miller run that the
Born Again.
Yeah, him opening that arc is amazing because he's the same. You can hear the actor's voice coming out of him because of how good that character is.
Yeah.
Now we should talk about two characters. One of them we'll say for so second to last. Stick was amazing this
Scott
season.
Glenn.
You like
the actor,
really because he's like a flashback in a lot of Daredevil. It was cool to have him like fighting alongside Elektra and Daredevil as like their third.
Well, and like it turns out like he's the linchpin for the whole story.
Right.
Like he's
the warrior fighting this war.
Well, he's the warrior fighting the war, but you find out like wait, like when they bring the Chaste into it, like that, like I was like, oh, finally, thank God we're doing this. Because
he's the one that killed that kid.
Well, yeah, he's the one who
cool
killed.
To have that like.
So okay, before we go in and talk about Stick and everything else, the question on everyone's mind: Black Sky. Mm-hmm. What is Black Sky?
Turning the lights off. Daredevil, when he hits the lights, makes
That's
the sky
when he
dark.
takes the chain and he knocks the lights out. And he's Black Sky. We got you, Matt. Any more questions? Bam, done. Check that one off.
You're both long. Get out. No, because he kills like a kid who's Black Sky, and the first one. But then so my question is, are there multiple Black Sky? Because he refers to Elektra as Black Sky. Like, is this like a thing that all of them are, or is this just like?
I think she is Black Sky.
So who was the kid in season 1?
Mini Black Cloud.
Red Herring.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Red Herring.
The Red Herring.
Storm Boy. Black Cloud.
Yeah, okay. It's like,
I think she's the pinnacle of like they all have the certain things like the Ghost Kids. There's a certain like
maybe they all form one character.
Voltron.
Right. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Should they go to the Shazam Cave of Wonders or whatever?
No, I think she's the pinnacle of that. Like there are many versions, and then she's the strongest. I think.
Well, and here's kind of how I justified it. All the kids, the only Black Sky that we've had have been kids. They've all died.
Right.
So maybe Elektra is the only Black Sky that's been able to like achieve adulthood.
Right.
And
well,
now,
she seems like the one though. They literally bow to her and stuff. Like she seems like a different flavor.
Yeah. So like, I mean, I've read a lot of Daredevil, but I haven't read everything.
I don't know anything about Black Scat personally.
But like, I've looked online, I've looked it all up. There's no one who's like, I don't know. Like, no one who's like calling it, as far as I know.
That's fine to me.
Because there's certainly no Black Sky in the comics,
right? That we know of.
But I do think it's got to be alluding to something. I'm just like, I'm missing it. Like, right. I'm not figuring
Season
it out.
3 or Iron Fist.
Yeah, I don't like. That's the question. Is this going to be Iron Fist? Is this going to be Defenders?
They never gave it to us in season 1. They never explained that kid. I'm okay with them not explaining this. I'm along for the ride as long as they want to take me on it.
Yeah,
I wasn't upset by the vagueness. I was just like, cool, more.
All right, well let's ask this. Is this Defenders or is this Iron Fist or is this season 3? Because there's 3 possibilities that they could explore this more. I mean, we don't even know if there's going to be a season 3, and if there is a season 3, it's probably not going to be until like 2018. Because they've already got
Luke Cage and
2
Iron Fist lined up.
Yeah,
but they did sneak in Daredevil season 2 before Luke Cage in between Jessica Jones, so they can always throw it in
but they've still got a Jessica Jones season 2 to do. They've got to do that before season 3.
They don't have to do anything.
They don't have.
They give
You're
me
right.
Daredevil
They don't have
season
to.
3 tomorrow.
I feel like just the fans talk about it enough. Like they're always going to say like it's going to take a long time, but I mean if we want it, we'll make it happen.
It was only a year ago we had Daredevil season 1.
Yeah,
and if they don't, I'm sure we'll crowd fund and just make our own Daredevil season 3.
You're not there yet. The very, very ending clearly sets up season 3. I don't think they do that to us.
But are they setting up season 3 or are they setting up Defenders?
I don't think you can have that storyline be fleshed out enough in Defenders because you need Matt and Karen. You need that through line.
No, but you can have Matt and Karen in the Defenders. Like Matt will be in the Defenders and Karen can be in there. Like why couldn't she be?
I'm more excited for season 3 of Daredevil than I am for Jessica Jones season 2, Luke Cage, or Iron Fist. So I am saying I want season 3.
Wow.
I loved season 2 more than I can quantify. It was that.
Wow.
I liked Daredevil season 2 within a 20% margin of how much I like Deadpool.
Personally, I'm excited for Luke Cage.
Oh, I can't.
Luke Cage is great.
I can't
Daredevil
wait for
season
Luke
3, I'm more excited about. Daredevil season 2 was literally 13 hours of me being an 11-year-old boy clapping like those cymbal monkeys, very stoked about the world. Forever.
Wow.
There was
you're more excited for that than Iron Fist.
I would have them cancel those other shows for Daredevil season 3, 4, and 5 next year. I am that. I loved it, man.
Whoa.
Dude, it was perfect.
You're an idiot.
Different strokes for different folks.
I just wanted to call you an idiot. I think that's funny.
Get one more in by the end of the show. One more, and I'll be good.
But that's me. Like
he'll be at his idiot.
We had Punisher. We had the character we haven't mentioned yet that was a surprise for everyone. We had an awesome stick. We had Elektra. We had ninjas. This show was what Batman and Robin was supposed to be. It was every villain ever in one, shaken not stirred. Yeah. And then season 3 we're gonna have Bullseye, faux show. So like, there's no way. It's gonna be perfect.
All right, well, let me find this tweet real quick because you brought up Bullseye. All right, Nick at UpPup says hosts pick for who should play Bullseye if they bring him in possible season 3. My vote is Aaron Paul. Dude, Aaron Paul would be an amazing Bullseye.
But he's such a simple, like, his delivery is always so like, hey, I'm super lovable, but I'm really lovable, whereas Bullseye's not lovable.
Oh, dude, I think he could play so dark and gritty.
I think it's, you know what, I like where Matt's going with this because it's sort of, he has been typecast as this big character when he played in Breaking Bad, and then he did it again with like a... Need for Speed,
yeah.
999. He was, the kind of same sort of burnout character. So let's stretch his acting muscles. Let's see what he can do.
I want a character that terrifies me. Yeah. I want someone that, like, I want Jake Gyllenhaal in Nightcrawler.
But that's high hopes for sure. That's like I'm trying to stay realistic.
I think John Bernthal. I mean, he's not as big as Jake Gyllenhaal, but Jake Gyllenhaal should be everyone.
It's like you can't.
Ben Foster.
Daniel Day-Lewis and Jake Gyllenhaal, everyone.
Jake Gyllenhaal would be so happy. I imagine be like a Daniel Day-Lewis cat. I mean, I think.
At UpPup, Nick. I love Aaron Paul. Like,
I love Aaron Paul.
No, but I love Aaron Paul. But like, I love Aaron Paul as Bullseye because there is like this sort of like snarky side to Bullseye. Like, yeah, he's terrifying, but part of the reason he's terrifying is because he is like almost kind of relatable in a way. Like, he is kind of like this like sarcastic jerk. Mm-hmm. And I think Aaron Paul could pull that off really well. Like, he like take like that sort of like street level like element of his character in Breaking Bad, and dial up like just a bit of the charm, but in like a dark, gritty way.
For me, his character in Breaking Bad is very street level, and I feel like the difference between Bullseye and Daredevil is that Bullseye always seems like he's 8 steps ahead of Daredevil, and I don't feel like Aaron Paul. I feel like for me, Aaron Paul is the Shocker from Spider-Man. Aaron Paul.
Oh no, he would be great as a Shocker.
But Shocker and Bullseye are totally different archetypes. Do you see what I mean?
No, I see.
I know
it. I don't
actors
disagree with you, but I think Aaron Paul, if given the chance, could prove to be a very good Bullseye.
I'm not going to argue against Aaron Paul ever because I love that man. So I think he could be great. I just think Jake Gyllenhaal, who else? Colin Farrell, ironically, I think he'd do a great job with a good writing team.
Yeah, no, he was a great Bullseye. He
I don't know about that.
He was cast well. He just wasn't written well.
He wasn't in the right movie. He was like his Bullseye was not in the right film, and I think he could be great.
He could be great.
Michael Shannon, I think he'd be a great Bullseye.
Ooh.
Like a darkness or gravitas. I joke a lot, but Ben Foster in Alpha Dog is way more Bullseye to me than most actors have gotten.
I didn't see Alpha Dog.
Those guys are who I. Yeah.
What about Ricky Gervais?
You know, I think the suit's really fitting for him. I think it's just the look.
He's like, Bullseye. I'm gonna. All right, look, listen, man. I'm gonna have to kill you.
What do sugar tits even mean, Bullseye?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's tricky. Now we haven't talked about the big reveal of season 2. At all.
Oh yeah, Melvin Potter's awesome.
Yeah, he's great. Dude, I know. Kingpin was secretly in this season, you guys.
Dude, that you know what? Here's my favorite part of that. They're like,
oh, I knew that. I knew that. Darn it. Coy ruined it for me when he came over and he was right. I was like, cool, sure. What is it? He was like, oh, don't worry about it. Like, just, because you said it, and I was like watching the show, and I was like, he's supposed to be in here. I haven't seen him yet. And I wasn't even a surprise for me. I was like expecting it. I'm gonna watch it, and it's not gonna be revealed. All right, guys. Well, this is I volunteered myself, and I volunteered myself when I decided to be friends with Coy.
It's
honestly,
true.
It's like
Coy ruins everything.
It's true.
Coy's a ruiner. That's what he does.
Call him an idiot again.
Coy, you're an idiot.
Coy, just yelling, just joking.
All right. We met our idiot quota for today.
Stupid Coy.
Idris Elba for Bullseye.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, no, you're right.
The poise, the gravitas,
You're right.
Idris Elba.
You're right.
Him speaking with that like malice, but like control, the brutality, the precision. Idris Elba.
Wow. Yeah. You just like Elizabeth Debicki'd me.
Yeah.
Like where I was like, Elizabeth Debicki is Captain Marvel? Oh my god, you're right. Like
Idris Elba.
Idris Elba. Is it Idris or Idris? I've always said Idris.
Mr. Elba.
Mr. Elba.
Sir.
Mr. Elba as Bullseye would
I think he'd be great.
Blow minds.
Yeah.
Oh my god, you just blew my mind. That's awesome. Good work.
So Kingpin.
Yeah, so Kingpin. What I loved about that episode is they do the opening, they do like the teaser opening, then they're like, you know, the blood is falling over, they do the actual title sequence, then they do the episode, then Kingpin comes in, and then the very next frame is, and also starring Vincent D'Onofrio. Like, I was like, that's the longest credit sequence ever! Like, I thought that was so well done. Like, it was like, oh yeah, by the way. Dude, so every single season of any single show ever has ups and downs to it. And Daredevil was like, oh my god, this is amazing. All right, this is kind of, oh my god, this is amazing. You know, once D'Onofrio got in,
yeah,
it just escalated up and up and up. It just didn't stop for like 3 whole episodes. Like, it's just like,
everything
holy crap, he's still in this. He's still doing it. Like, oh my god.
I know Idris Elba's Heimdall. Like, they're not going to mix the Thor and Daredevil are not going to be hanging out in Hell's Kitchen anytime soon. It's a thing they can do. Captain America has been the Human Torch, so let's not get into this.
But he proved that he's the perfect casting for this role.
Yeah.
And like, here's the moment where there was a moment where I actually feared for Daredevil.
Right. The Matt Murdock scene when it's Matt Murdock as Matt Murdock in the prison and he just abuses him. Yeah, like he just like rails on Matt Murdock and you're just like, oh my god, he might actually kill him. And it hurts to watch.
Yeah, because like there's a brief moment, it's very brief, it's like 2 seconds tops, where Kingpin grabs him and Matt Murdock reacts.
Right.
Where he's like, no, I'm Daredevil. Wait, I can't be.
I'm not Daredevil, I'm Matt Murdock. Shit.
And like, I think that's why at the very end of that episode, he's like, I want you to give me everything on Daredevil. Because he's like, wait.
He moved like Daredevil.
Like there was something there, like, I think Kingpin's onto him now. Yeah. Like, just from that, it was a second. Right. And I think that was enough. Because like,
Kingpin's a smart guy.
No, he's a smart guy, but like, just like think of like the acting muscle that takes to show like that in just a second. Just like, oh crap, I can't be him. And then, wait, who was that?
Yeah.
Like, you don't move like a blind lawyer.
Right. That scene itself was like, that's what I'm saying, man. Season 2, I think, is the best thing they put out. It's just, there's so many moments. There's so much.
Yeah.
I guess that was sort of foreshadowed, too, when he was playing pool very early on. I'm trying to relate this back to stuff that I know. But I was like, that's sort of like episode 2.
Early on in the season, a couple of weeks ago.
Where he's playing pool. And he's dumbing down that he I can't say you're gonna show me how to play pool, and he goes and sharks her and
totally
she's
shark.
3 in.
I that was something that I don't remember seeing a whole lot of in the first season of Matt Murdock having to hide who he is.
I kept watching very closely for that because I was like, there's got to be a mess up somewhere where he looks over and someone nods and he goes, oh, and I was waiting for a awkward high five or a fist pump that he saw, and someone's like, wait, are you really blind?
Are you really blind? Oh, yes, I'm blind. That was something that I never really thought of, and I saw more and more of that in this season of him having to be Clark Kent,
right?
Where you're like, no, I'm not Superman. I'm real weak and
I'm over here. I'm blind.
Yeah.
When he has to pull out his stick when he's walking away from the cops, he's like, oh no, please stay.
Yeah.
Well, this show balanced 5 lead characters really well.
Yeah.
We had effectively the first season was Matt versus Kingpin.
Yeah.
Through line. This was a Punisher backdoor pilot.
Yeah.
Elektra introduction. Foggy was a bigger presence. Matt and Daredevil both felt like separate characters.
Yeah.
Stick was there, and no one felt shortchanged.
No one.
That's what I sort of liked comparatively to season 1 through season 2 to season 2. Was season 1, some parts it really was it felt like it dragged, and then season 2 really was jumped it, introduced it. It knew it had a lot of stuff to do. If it was going to be, it was let's give everyone what they want, but they've been waiting for. And so that's what I appreciated so far. What I've watched.
Yeah. Am I remembering it correctly or incorrectly? Was Punisher's first line of the entire season bang?
Yeah. First thing he said was when he shot him.
Yeah. Bang.
And we were all excited about that one word for so long, and then it was the thing. It was his very first.
It's his very first
Where
line.
was he in that exact... I'm trying to remember exactly. Where was he?
It was on the rooftop.
When they fought on the rooftop, and then
in episode 1 even. They're fighting on the rooftop.
Oh, okay. But at that point you're like, well, I mean, we know he's the Punisher, but maybe
we knew
for
but it was the first time we saw his face.
If my mom was watching it, she's like,
who
is that, Leon?
Hear his voice,
Who is he?
And that was really cool. The first time you hear his voice, we'd already heard it.
They're calling him the Punisher. She goes, that's that guy from the comic book.
I know that's
the guy from the comic.
I've seen that symbol.
I know that.
All right, so let me throw... Well, yeah.
The live chat, we'll get back to Daredevil, but quickly, the live chat has been freaking out about the Luke Cage teaser.
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to do that at the end?
No, let's talk about it now.
Okay.
Fine. This whole thing is just Daredevil. It's just Daredevil.
Oh, I have
there's
not
no
watched
structure
the
to
Luke
this.
Cage teaser.
It's there's not much to it, but
all
it
right,
is
give
awesome.
me a quick play-by-play.
All right, so Luke Cage walks into a gym.
Solid,
right? Done. You want to see it? Luke Cage walks into a gym.
That sounds like something Luke Cage would do.
Bench,
all right, so Luke Cage walks into a bar, right? There's a Jew, there's a Christian, there's a Muslim.
I think I've heard this one. Stanley.
So Luke Cage walks into a gym, and you see 3 or 4 bad guys, just like they all pull out their guns, and he just goes, you guys must not have heard about me. And they all unload on him, and the bullets all deflect off of him and rip the gym apart. Bags are falling, weights are knocking all over the place because he's bulletproof. And then he goes, I'm tired of always having to get new clothes. And then it cuts to him like a dude being thrown through a window, and you just know this guy went full on raging bull on these guys. It was
and the font is so cool.
Where does this one take place in relation to the Jessica Jones series?
So that's actually a really kind of some question about that. We know that it takes place after Jessica Jones. Mike Coulter's actually said this takes place after Jessica Jones. But he deals with the fact that he had to leave his bar behind. Now he's living in Harlem.
Yeah, I'm sort of he was a bartender somewhere, which would have been really cool if the scene opened up in a bar, not a gym, and all the bottles are breaking, and that would have been really cool. I don't know what they were thinking.
So it takes place after, and he's dealing with the fallout of Jessica and meeting another super person and having a relationship with another super person, and Purple Man, Kilgrave, doing a number on him. So he's dealing with that, but it also has to establish his origin, where did he get these powers and all that stuff, and so it deals with him also as a felon. So there's it seems like it's both. It seems like it's before, like a few years before everything has happened, but also after Jessica Jones. So the question is, where does Daredevil season 2 and Jessica Jones fall in line?
That one as well as and Jessica Jones season 2 as well as, I mean, if they're going to do the Luke Cage, like is he going to do both? I don't know. There's a lot of questions for me. That's why I was like, whoa, like they're doing this right now.
Yeah, like it feels like Jessica Jones and Daredevil season 2 may be like
same time.
What if they just combine and make it one show that we could all watch?
Defenders at the end.
Yeah, it's like it'd be really nice if they just had one. Do you think they're hinting at one show?
That might be a thing at the end.
Might be
do you think they're going to be
2 hours of Defenders 4 times 13?
Yeah, no, I thought to go back to the Luke Cage thing, like that was very exciting. That was like I was like, oh my god,
it was a great 30 seconds. They did a really good job establishing Zeal, and the font being so Power Man-ish it made me so happy.
Yeah, what was the rap song that they played? Like that was like perfect too. Like it was like Major Look or something like that. X gonna give it to you. That was like Major Look. Yeah, I can't remember who does it. It was like Major Look or something like that.
To get back to Daredevil, the death scene. There's every time I stop to think about different scenes. Yeah. This is what I mean. It was just so near perfect. I didn't like the very, very end of the show, but I liked. Wait,
what did you not like about it?
I liked the last minute. I didn't like the last 10 minutes before that. Like it felt like it was like a locomotive steaming towards a thing, and then all of a sudden it was like, we got 10 minutes. We gotta wrap it up. It just felt like the last.
It did feel a little rushed at the end. You're right.
The last minute's amazing, but the 10 minutes before that felt like. We only have 13 this season.
Oh, it's such a bummer when they do that. They get rushed. They're like, we want to get everything in. That's probably why. I mean, they were like trying to I felt like they were trying to get everything in the beginning of the season for sure, and then. And they had like this nice pace, but that's a bummer. They're like, okay, well, they had so much to get into it. It's what separates it from 100
to a 98. Still a 98%, still an A+.
What are you, Rotten Tomatoes?
I give it a 98%.
You're rotten
My
Coy.
RT score, 98%.
Yeah, and like honestly, like I've never seen Elektra as like an actual love interest for Matt. Like she's always been like very much like this very lustful, like almost like erotic
right?
fantasy
like,
kind of thing.
I'm into you, but don't get in my way. Like
like I've never seen her as like a steady girlfriend, like let's run off together kind of thing.
Oh, so, and like, they painted her more like that in this.
Towards the end of the season, they started to paint her that way, and like that, like. Karen Page, so it's the difference of like who's the one that you take home to mom. Mm-hmm. Elektra's definitely not the one that you like. Karen Page from Matt Murdock is the one that you take home to mom. She's like, hey, I want to marry this girl. Like that's what I feel like. I was excited about that. No, he does. But like I like for them to start exploring that aspect of the relationship, like towards the end of the season with Elektra, I was like, I don't buy that.
Well,
I don't believe
more about
that.
The past. Like, it was, for me, it was their long-term love affair versus Karen's the new thing. And they brought up that classic superhero trope, like, you're the only one that understands both sides of me.
Yeah.
I bought into that. I was cool with it. She is very evil, though.
Yeah.
So that was definitely a factor. But he knew that.
Yeah. No, I mean, I totally get it. Like,
it's crazy the amount of stuff guys let girls get away with.
It's true. They're pretty. The girl's evil, but she also has ninja skills.
That translates to the superhuman world as much as it does the...
It's very true.
It's true.
Basic human.
So... Do you think Elektra is now going to be resurrected and be like the leader of the Hand?
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay.
I think that's season 3 for me.
I'm gonna go with the yes.
Okay.
She's smart. Elektra.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the yeah on this. Wasn't enough of her so far. I hope they bring her back.
I think that's a big season 3, and I think Bullseye season 3. I think
So let me throw this out at you also. Kingpin is going to orchestrate from prison the fall of Matt Murdock, and I think like he's going to he will figure out Matt Murdock is a Daredevil, and we're gonna have like the born again thing.
Oh yeah,
and it's going to mix a little bit with like Bullseye and like that whole sequence of him like killing Karen and stuff like that. Like I think Karen Page will probably die in season 3.
Yeah, I don't think she'll make it.
Yeah.
Don't say that.
No, I don't want it to be the case, but like she dies in the comics. Like
and
now you jinxed it.
She's such a good actress.
You jinxed it.
Oh my god,
she killed it this season.
She did. Like she was great.
The great thing about Netflix is it gives us 13 hours to really appreciate all the characters enough that the characters don't feel like Natalie Portman and for them to die.
Now, I will say one of the weakest parts of the season for me. Wasn't necessarily Karen Page or Deborah Ann Wool's like portrayal. Mm-hmm. Like she's a great actress, and I love her portrayal of Karen. But I thought it was a little weird that like she's now a journalist. She's never written anything before.
They killed their journalist season 1, which they shouldn't have done.
Yeah, but like I felt like that was a little forced, where they were like, well, Nelson and Murdoch's fallen away, but we've still got to keep her in the universe, so she's a journalist. And it's like,
everyone mentioned she's never done it before, and she's like, I'm a quick study. Other snarky comment. I can totally do this.
Yeah, and I don't know, like I felt like they were like, I mean, what, journalist? You're just writing some stories. Yeah, I mean, she's proven that she can investigate stuff. She's just gonna write it down.
Yeah,
like she's like, no, that's not how it works.
I think it pays homage to her Godfrey movie. I couldn't remember his name. Her
Ben
friend.
Urich?
Yeah,
no, it absolutely
it's like
does.
a nice homage to him because I haven't even seen.
They
that
do,
far.
yeah. They make sure that's a thing. It's just
they absolutely like pay homage to him, but like
it just felt like we needed him. It felt weird without, or like for me.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah, when they killed him off, like, oh shoot, we need him.
We need a reporter. We need someone to, and yeah.
You know what? Here's what I think would have been better for Karen. Like she does all this investigative stuff. The guy says, "Hey," like the editor's like, "Hey, why don't like the story's over? Thank you for your help. If you want to write like a little op-ed sort of thing, like I would love that." But
that actor was amazing too. The editor, that guy
was great.
He was so good.
He was a strong character. I really liked him a lot. And he took the place of Ben Urich, which was great also. But what I think they could have done is she's an investigator, not a writer. Like there's a difference there. She could have like
investigated. He wrote it.
Yeah, like she investigates, he writes. But here's what they could have done at the end of the season. She like appears at Jessica Jones. She's like, "Hey, do you need some help with your investigative agency?"
Yeah, because she's a great investigator.
She's a great investigator.
She investigates. Like she's a great investigator. Season 1 and 2.
Investigation and then writing about that investigation, two completely different skills. So to be like, "Oh, well, Karen Page is now a writer," it's like, no, like
they're different things.
They're different things.
Wes YouTube said, but her monologue at the end of the finale was way less than 2,000 words. She's getting fired.
Well, and that's the thing is like. Her monologue at the end is like, "You're all heroes. Like, go look in the mirror." That's a great monologue. It's not.
Has anything to do with
not journalism.
It's not journalism.
Her whole thing was
She's new at it. She's gonna get better. Give the girl a chance. She's almost been killed a bunch of times.
Yeah. Maybe that was just like the opening paragraph.
Yeah, and they just cut it off.
Speaking of heroes, Punisher. Let's talk about that guy now.
This guy, Frank Castle.
Investigative journalism.
Now, do we? I mean, people are going to be asking. I don't know what the future of the Punisher holds. The first 2 episodes, I was like, this guy's like the Hulk. He's a great supporting character. I don't know if he'll hold his own show. But by the end, I was like, Punisher show tomorrow. In.
Yeah, no. Like, even just early on, it was just like, I was like, who's the star of this show now? Like, whose show is this?
Yeah, no, it's like, he was absolutely like the high point of the entire, like, Daredevil was great. But Punisher stole it. Like, he absolutely stole this show.
That's what the first season was really missing, I feel like. Was like, it needed that awesome... It was so cool.
Yeah. You know what I wanted to see at the end with the ninja fight on the roof? Punisher shows up. I wanted to see, like, a fight sequence of Daredevil and Punisher working together. Not like Daredevil, like, fighting, but, like, him, like, sniper rifle.
I would have loved it back to back, and they go back to back, and they, like...
and they have to say it, though. Back to back.
Yeah, and they have to say it. And they just... Oh, that'd be so cool.
Like,
Season 3, wait for it, guys.
That's they call each other.
That'd be really cool.
And then, like, Jessica Jones just flies in. They're like,
she's like,
"Hey,
you guys...
what's up?"
Nickel, dime!
Yeah, Luke Cage, like, comes in. Dime. Like, yeah!
Dude, I hope they bring him in a lot because of how much he stole the show.
Yeah, like, but I would have, like, that's one thing that this is so the most nitpicking thing ever. And this is just, like, me being such a, like just a fan wanting to see what I want to see. But that would have been so awesome if Daredevil, like, he's on the roof and he's like, all right, they just took down a lecture. I don't know how I'm going to fight all these ninjas. And as he runs into the fray, like one ninja gets blown away and another one gets blown away and Daredevil stops and they all stop like, what the flip? And they turn around and Daredevil just kind of waves it.
And he's like over on a water tower.
That's kind of what they did, but I wanted to see more of that.
Snipe shot was straight out of the comics. That was 129. That's Spider-Man. That's his intro.
It was. I'm not saying it wasn't. I wanted to see 6 more seconds of that.
I got you. Or
like,
using the minigun at the end.
Or the minigun.
That's true. I guess if they set it up for that, you want to indulge in that for a while. Because they let you indulge in a lot of things like that. And that was the one you were like, it was like help from the sidelines.
Like, I wanted to see, like, Daredevil goes into the fight. He looks like he's about to lose. Blow. And then, like, he's like, oh yeah,
all hope
and he
lost.
like pulls his club out, hits a guy, another guy's about to hit him, Punisher hits him. Like, I wanted to see like this weird like long distance tag team kind of action.
I just picture he's like, all right, pulls out his hand with the taped gun on it, and and the chain, and that was my favorite weapon.
But
chain
you
was
have-
was the
the chain was
coolest.
amazing, but you haven't seen the weapon at the
tape
end.
gun was just so. Oh, it was
The
so.
chain
it was, just
was
beautiful.
almost as cool as the thing for me, the bow staff. Almost.
No, the nunchuck billy club at the end that he has is. It's perfect.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
It's really awesome. Like, you're going to love it, I promise. I think we've got to start wrapping up. I forgot to set my timer.
man.
Oh, yeah, we're just doing a show. Every character was amazing. I loved all of it. I loved they balanced that many characters that are iconic. They didn't just balance, like, Todd in accounting with, like, blah, blah, blah. They balanced the Punisher, Elektra, Daredevil, Kingpin showed up. Like, they did everything, and they did it really well. I would love a Punisher show now. I didn't know that I would before. I knew John
No,
Bernthal
dude,
would
I'm
be
the
great.
same. I'm the same.
I knew Bernthal would be great. I didn't know he would change my opinion on a character like Downey Jr. did.
Like, I want to go read more Punisher.
Right,
Like,
now that's what I mean.
I've read my fair share of Punisher
Same.
comics. I want to go read
I'm a
every
bigger
single
fan
one
now than I've ever
exactly.
been.
Yeah.
Like, really, because of that.
Daredevil too, though. After the season, I started reading old Daredevil that I never read. Like, this show made me a bigger fan of these characters that I only casually enjoyed before, and that's what these are supposed to do, in my opinion. So for me, it was like a 98%. It was so close, and Daredevil's my favorite franchise now. Thank you, Marvel.
Jaden, who has seen 6 episodes?
Yeah, I'm getting into 7. I
Great.
believe. Yeah. I mean, amazing. Like, it was something that I was like, Daredevil was never really a comic that I picked up. That wasn't one that I felt like particularly spoke to me in the job. I mean, if the job of the show is to introduce to a new audience something maybe they've never seen before and get me excited about something I thought I'd never be into, then they did their job. And I think they did a really good job of hitting a lot of people and still staying true to what I think is the Daredevil series, which is true because other shows really missed their mark on that. We don't have to name names, but Gotham, and where it's just sort of like you could really go. That's probably the opposite of Gotham. A+ in my book, 100%. I'll give it 90. I give it so far from what I've seen up to like a 97. I think that's fair.
All right.
1 sec before we move on to your final wrap-up. Slim reminded me just now in the live chat, Slim413RD, that they auditioned together, John Bernthal and Tom Holland, because they were working on something together.
So cool.
And they were sending in like self-tapes and helping each other. So,
so cool.
Punisher debuts in Spider-Man. The idea that Spider-Man and Punisher were like broing out and like teaming up to get the parts makes me so happy, and that's such an amazing thing in real life. Your thoughts?
So, like, going back to my very first question of the best moments, the best, like, the fight scenes, everything else, those are all incredible moments, and I loved all of them, and I can't wait to watch them all. I'll probably watch them on YouTube a lot. For me, the best moments of this entire series, again, like, go hand in hand with seeing Foggy do his thing, like, in the courtroom, whatever, but the best moment for me was Punisher in the cemetery telling his story.
Yeah.
Like, that, like, I was, like, almost crying.
Yeah.
Like, this is a superhero TV show. I'm like sitting on the edge of my seat, completely forgetting that I'm watching a TV show and fully invested in a character who murders people. Like, Captain America's like, he's a murderer. Like, in the comics, he's a murderer. Like, you're a homicidal maniac.
And you care so much.
And he is that in the comics. But, like, you care. Like, there's so much pathos and humanity and, like, strange compassion and regret, like, all wrapped up into this one moment of him leaning against a tombstone as the cops are coming for him, just, like, pouring himself out to this man who just saved his life. The stranger, really, like, who he hates.
Red.
Hey, thanks, Red. Good work, Red.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I think that's a really good. When he first said it, I was like, oh, that's
good.
sticking.
Like, right? Like,
no, and they had that beautiful line, just to kind of piggyback on what you said, that beautiful line when he first, like, you're just one bad day.
Yeah.
And you really do that whole scene on top of the roof where you really have that moment where it's like, who's who? Who's the good guy? Who's the bad guy?
Well, and Daredevil has that day.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the film, or the end of the 13-hour film.
It feels like a fair, right?
At the end of the 13-hour film, he's like, he goes to help Punisher out. He's like, I'll do it. Maybe this one time you're right.
And Punisher knows. Punisher's the good guy in that scene. Like, you don't come back from it. Like, what? So good.
Yeah. Like, I mean,
they trade places.
It's
from
amazing.
Rooftop.
Yeah. Like, it was Punisher was right. He called it. Like, he was like, what's that?
It was even better than I expected. The show.
Yeah, overall. I thought you said it was better than Mad Max. I was like, no, Fury Road is pretty awesome.
I feel like they compare apples and oranges again.
Yeah, we're talking pizza and parfait here.
Pizza parfait.
But the other thing, the love talk in the diner.
Oh, dude.
Like,
I'm a sucker for love talks. I'm just a sucker for like that idea in shows you don't expect it in, especially hearing like Punisher talk about love. I was like, I agree. Like, I love when characters profess love or talk about love or the concept of these things above a superhero show, and that monologue is like how I feel about a lot of it. It was amazing.
Yeah. Like there's a quote that I heard once, and it's something like, love is giving someone the capacity to destroy you, like willingly being like, you can destroy me. Here it is. Here's the nuclear codes to blowing me apart.
Punisher talking about that,
just like the love between Captain and Bucky.
Exactly, it's
true.
It's that bromance.
It's true.
Like having like that moment in the diner where he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna spin some Punisher wisdom." And you're like, "Oh boy, here we go." And you're like, "Yeah, no, that's." I mean, like I'm sitting there watching it with Brittany, like who's the love of my life, and I'm marrying later this year, and I'm like. Yeah, like
that's how I feel.
That's so true. Like, you know, like, and like the fact that he's like, I know it's gross, right? But the fact that he's just like, I will never have a fight with my wife again. Like, I will never feel the way. Like, I will never get that again.
That is a permanent moment we have in our lives because of a show about a man in red tights. That is why I love that scene. That's why the diner is the most important thing to me, because in a show about ninjas, resurrection, a blind man fighting crime, I have a piece of love that I never experienced in my brain before, and I have a new perception on the world because of a comic show, and it expressed how I feel about love through the voice of a sociopath, which makes me question my shit.
I liked when he killed people with the gun and
it was so beautiful.
That part was really cool. That part really resonated with me.
All right, so let's do you have some iTunes shout? That's it for Daredevil, by the way. So.
Welcome back, non-Daredevil viewers yet. The Doctor 1211, 5 stars. Thank you for the one
Thank you, Doctor.
since last week. Thank you, Doctor.
The Doctor is
Enjoy your
in.
PhD.
So Ash at AshArnold11 on the Twitters asks, do you think the Punisher and Foggy will show up in Luke Cage or Jessica Jones? Like Jessica Jones season 2.
Do I think Punisher?
Punisher or Foggy?
I think Foggy might because of how they ended it. I don't think that Jessica Jones is done shooting, or is it? No. Luke Cage is done shooting. Yeah. Jessica Jones, I don't think so. He feels like a different tone to me.
Dude, I totally think we're going to see him in season 2.
I would just like to see Punisher.
I want him everywhere.
I think that would just be cool to see. I don't know what the likeliness is, but it would be cool.
I also think that Night Nurse is going to be the Samuel L. Jackson of the Netflix universe.
Yeah, I mean, she is.
I think but I mean, as far as recruiting, I think she's going to assemble the Defenders.
Oh,
I think her leaving the hospital puts her in a position to gather all those people she's met and like these special friends she has. I think she's maybe literally the Nick Fury.
Ooh, I mean, she's going to go start her own. She's going to go start her own clinic where she can play by her own rules.
Oh my god.
That's why they fired her from the hospital.
Right. That's my theory.
So let's see. Geek is cool says, do you think Marvel Studios will just stop letting critics see movies early? Why should they really? I don't understand what they're referring to with this question. I don't think Marvel will ever stop letting critics see their movies early. Like,
I think that's important to it, though. It's like the fans are the ones who write these movies. Not, I mean, like, sure, there's directors and writers and stuff, but at the end of the day, we decide what
lasts.
And I, like, the thing is, like, when a film doesn't let critics.
It's a red flag.
It's a red flag. Like when Donna, there was like a media blackout on Donna Justice until this week, and when I heard that, I was like, oh no, that's not good.
Yeah. They're just ready to turn it out and like give up on it. Yeah.
That said, we're all seeing it tonight, and I'm seeing it tonight because I support comic films, whether which side of the aisle they're on. I'm reaching across the aisle to DC.
I will be seeing it next week. I'm just not seeing it this weekend. So James Moore at Moore James wants to hear your thoughts on how Marvel can pull off the Inhumans movie when they are mostly being explored in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That movie will be very confusing, I think, for anyone who doesn't watch S.H.I.E.L.D. Neither one of you watch S.H.I.E.L.D. I'll answer this real quick. They're not going to do... Oh, Doom! Doom, by the way, I forgot to set my timer, so I have no idea how
8-hour show.
How long we're going right now.
You're good.
But I don't think they're going to do anything with the Inhumans from the TV show from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the movie. I think they're going to be two completely separate things. They might reference each other. I don't think you're going to need to watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to get the Inhumans movie at all. Like, the Inhumans movie is going to be Black Bolt. It's going to be the Royal Family, Black Bolt, Medusa,
Yeah, you won't
Karnak.
have the ones that are...
Well, there was interesting news. I'm not sure if you guys mentioned it at all. I don't think while I was away. But Inhumans may get pushed now.
Yeah.
Disney just announced this week that Indiana Jones 5 is coming out, and the release date they set is 1 week after Inhumans was set to come out. And it seems unlikely that Disney would want to put two of their own movies up against each other.
True, very true. They wouldn't release them at the same time.
And Indiana Jones kind of has a track record of doing well, regardless of
how good they are. Yeah.
Yeah.
And as much as I want to see Quake in an Inhumans movie, and it like I always said, like, how could they do Civil War without at least mentioning all of these characters that are running around? But look at what's happening here.
Yeah.
It's a separate universe, MCU and Comic U and TVU.
Yeah. I mean, they're a combined universe, but like they're exploring completely different angles of the stadium.
Daisy just popped up in the comic I was reading, and I was like, hey.
Yeah. No, I mean, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has their own DLC coming to Lego Marvel Avengers.
While we're on wrap
very
up,
important.
This is a controversial thing, and I might not should be talking about it. I am in love with Disney/Marvel not potentially filming anymore in Georgia because of that shenanigans.
Yeah.
So if anyone from Marvel watches our Marvel show, dude, if they're gonna be bigots in Georgia, then don't give them money. So I commend you. That is amazing.
I'll clap for that.
It's the coolest thing to be like, oh, multi-billion-dollar industry, you want to be hate-filled? Blah, 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 blah. It's awesome.
So to answer that question, I don't think that it would confuse, but it sounds like, according to the voice of doom, who's back from Liberia, welcome. So Benny Quinn at Benny Quinn 10 says, you guys, after Infinity Wars, Marvel would consider doing Black Knight films with Ghost Rider and Blade teaming up.
After Defenders? Is that what they said?
No, after Infinity Wars. We're talking like the year 2020.
I do think they're going to go darker because of, 1, how well Punisher did, 2, how well Deadpool did, 3, how well the Netflix series are doing. I think they could go that route. I don't think it'll become their main universe. I do think it could happen in a Netflix realm.
I think like Ghost Rider and Blade is a Netflix. I think they'll keep it there. I don't think they'll do the cinematic though.
I'd watch a Ghost Rider show. I'd watch the Netflix show.
Yeah. And they've already proven that chains in a hallway are pretty.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, that's where I've seen it before. I went, as soon as I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah. So Dan E at Leukemia, okay, says, how will the Superhuman Registration Act, Sokovia Accords affect Daredevil, Jessica Jones, and the other shows? I don't know. They may not even address it. Like in the Netflix stuff, like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., we already know that it's going to affect Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in some way. We don't know how,
right?
But we already know like it's going to affect them in some way, like Civil War did. But I don't know that it's going to affect Daredevil, Jessica Jones, or the other shows. Like they'll probably be mentioned the same way that they talk about the incident or stuff like that.
It'll be the poster in Captain America. Yeah, it's like, did you guys hear about this registration?
Crazy. Sokovia Accords, right? I don't know if I agree.
I do. Records in the incident, like she had to go through the paper records because of the incident. So I love that little.
Yeah, like so I think that that Civil War will affect the Netflix universe as much as the other Avengers films have, where like they recognize that they're in that universe, but only by a line or two. I feel like that's what they're going to do.
Yeah, it's like a nice little conscious nod to it, not a whole episode or season.
Yeah. Patrick Perfield at Pat Perf says, will we see as much Iron Fist and Luke Cage as we do Luke Cage and Jessica Jones? I don't think so.
I think we'll have some.
I definitely think that a reason that they announced the casting when they did, because they're starting to film Iron Fist, so they need to. But I also think that it was like I think he appears in Luke Cage
also
in some
keep
way.
The momentum going. I love how they're like you get 6 months between shows, and then right as one gets out, we get hype for the other. Luke Cage hype, casting Iron Fist. Like we have this amazing ball rolling of like
Yeah. So I wrote a couple of quick shout outs. At the Eric Opperman says, seeing Batman vs Superman tomorrow. And this was yesterday, so he's seeing it today. And with all the mixed reviews, all I keep thinking is Marvel news. But then he put a picture of Kevin Feige, and it says, "In Feige we trust." So
fantastic.
Well done, Eric Opperman. I agree. I don't want to I agree. But while we're talking about Batman vs Superman, I know we're a Marvel show. I want it to be good.
I want it to be great.
Look, I bleed Marvel. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I have a lot of very good friends who are DC. They bleed DC. I want them to have the same universe that we have.
That love, that power.
I don't think
that's such like a punch in the throat, though. It's such like a like I want them to just have enjoy
I want them to be happy. Like
I want them to be happy like me.
I don't mean it to sound like that.
No. I know you, and I know it comes from a good place.
I'm so happy with
Coy,
the MCU.
Idiot.
I'm so happy with the MCU, and I want DC fans to have
that happiness.
Well, that was DC's problem, in that I've said this over and over again. It's like they don't it's like, why don't they have any people that are fans of DC writing? Because there's so many. The DC fans are just as cool as Marvel fans, and they're so passionate, and they don't get anyone who cares about the franchise or the show to. Well, and what's
funny about what we shouldn't be telling, it's Marvel movie news, but like DC is like it's a bright, shiny universe.
Oh, it's huge. And
like it's the JLA, the Legion of Superheroes, like Justice League, all that stuff is so bright and shiny and fun. Yeah. And Superman is like the brightest character you can have. Like
Boy Scout.
Hope, optimism, like I always do the right thing. Yes, Batman is dark, and Batman has to be dark, and they have other dark characters. They have dark corners like any universe should. But as a whole, they've got Flash racing Supergirl. Like that's DC. Right. So to do an entire cinematic universe like dark and brooding, like it just throws me off.
That doesn't make sense to the brand that was already there. It was already there before.
Yeah. So I'm sorry. I know some of you hate it when we talk DC, but like
I hope it does well. I mean, I hope, and actually I'm torn because if it does well, then that'll encourage them to keep going on a dark path, but if it doesn't do well, then we don't get more superhero movies.
Like,
I want more.
It's too big to fail.
That's what I said, yeah.
It's like, it's going to make $1 billion.
Right, no matter what, it's going to continue from this point, but I want positive encouragement. I want all things to get better, not just to get by.
I mean, but we've seen the people be able to do that before. You know, we have our Days of Future Past. Yeah. You know, we can rewrite anything and fix anything.
I think DC fans are going to get the movie they want with Suicide Squad. I really honestly think Suicide Squad is going to be like, oh my god, now this is a DC movie.
It'll be like the Deadpool of their, like, it'll be fun.
I think it's going to be I think it's going to be super fun.
I'm excited. I just, I'm sad for people I'm sad for the people that would have been as excited as I was to see ninjas scale a hospital wall, that they might not get that with this film, because I casually enjoy those heroes. You guys, from the sounds of critics, aren't going to have that same zeal, and that sucks for you guys, and I'm sorry, and I hope it's better than they say it is.
I'm hoping that it's better.
Yeah.
But, I like Turbo's comment, says, give DC to Tommy Wiseau. And maybe it'd be a good movie. Like,
maybe it would be.
Maybe.
We would certainly all watch it.
We'd be right
there. It would be worse.
People were posting some stuff that the Rotten Tomatoes of The Room was matching that of Batman Superman earlier today. It has gone up since then, I will say that.
What's BVS at now on Rotten Tomatoes?
I don't have it in front of me. I think
that's all right.
We don't need to get into it.
Yeah.
Keep your hopes high.
We don't gotta keep digging. They can dig their own grave.
I am hopeful. I mean,
look, from Doom's perspective, DC has there's a ton of great stuff in the DC universe. There's a lot of fun to be had. I hope that the people that are in charge of it that's the key. I think they just they need to have fun.
Yeah.
Because when you get charged with this thing, there's a lot that goes into it, and we all know.
With great power.
You were just building to that, Doom. God.
Nicely done, Doom.
Well done, sir. Well done. Doom, get ready with this picture. Mitchell Smith at Mitch Beth 2005. Oh, that's a clever name. Well done, Mitch Beth. Mitch Beth. That's the only way you can say that. Yeah, you can't say that in the theater, but you can say it that way. Says someone was very happy to have gotten this for her good report card, and then she's got all these like wonderful Civil War toys, like
the cutest.
Like, hey, round of applause for a good report card.
Amazing.
Well done. Well done. Keep getting those good grades, because then Daddy goes has an excuse to go buy you some awesome toys.
No, she's like, can I take these? And I'm like, no.
Did their Daddy's toys.
He's great
report card. We're just gonna put these up.
He's like the dad from the Lego movie. Like, you can't break it apart. They're collectible. No, Mitchell Smith. I'm sure that's not true. Elizabeth Espinoza says, finally picked this up because Coy Jandreau speaks so highly of it. I give in Coy. I'll read it, and then she picked up all. That's a great run, by the way. Like, Ultimate Spider-Man is very good. Like, Bendis just like killed that run.
Especially the first few arcs. I mean, it's got like 10 years of glory.
So good.
Look at that solid cover too. The 3D
popping out of the sidebar.
Doing the sidebar. He's coming
enjoy
at
that. I'm so glad I could encourage such glory into your life.
Yeah. Dave Johnson at Adam Shaggy Kinway says, listening to the first Marvel News episode for research and pleasure, I'm loving how far it came. So, like, he's listening to a show that
I wasn't even around.
You weren't even. Yeah,
I've been here over a year now.
He's listening to Seamless jokes right now.
That's true. That's true.
Thank you, Dave, for that. Mayhem at Fly Me to Paris says, Gym Trainer canceled on May, so I'm cleaning and doing Marvel News with the faves and some lady with pink hair. Talking about you.
Last week, I said.
Shout out to Mayhem.
Get back to the gym.
Is it pink?
Yeah, I think it's pink.
Oh my god!
Oh my god! How'd that happen? And finally, Teresa Luz at Teresa Fortes Luz says, "I want to give a shout out to you guys because you're awesome and your show makes me happy. Thank you for doing an amazing job.
You make me happy.
Thank you.
Thanks,
You make all of us happy.
Hope you enjoyed our feature-length show this week.
Teresa's a giant Doctor Strange fan. We tweeted each other from time to time. Yeah. So anyway, do you guys have some final thoughts before we take off?
Daredevil was better than I expected, and I'm so happy it exists, and I am excited to see Batman vs. Superman, regardless of everyone else's so far opinions, and I hope that they get the universe they want. And Daredevil Season 3, please.
Can't happen fast enough for you.
Please fill the void in my life soon, but only you can.
What void?
That small jigsaw piece that only Season 3 can fill. I need you.
I feel like that isn't good for you. I don't like that. Like, it was
so
less than I would like.
inside.
Like
It's been 3 days.
This has just been like your new.
I have no new Daredevil to watch, and I miss it. Please, come back.
Stop, you idiot. Jada, final thoughts?
Man, okay, so we talked to I'm excited to really finish Daredevil.
Yeah.
I'm excited about, finishing the series. I mean, good show. We talked about a lot of really great things. We went back to the X-Men, which I'm so excited about. I know you guys are more Civil War people, but I'm so excited for X-Men Apocalypse.
Great, that's awesome.
Yeah, and I'm stoked on that. That's
stoked on X-Men.
Yeah,
stoked on life.
I'm stoked on everything right now.
RC Cola.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
There's this burger place right around the corner that serves RC Cola. The only place that I know of, and it's my favorite.
Yeah. What?
Daredevil just got a creepy, sexy shout out.
Yeah, dude. All right. Well, I will not be here next week.
But where we will be tomorrow with the English we will be speaking. WonderCon, you and I.
Oh yeah, well we're gonna be at WonderCon tomorrow doing a panel with Geek and Sundry. They're doing a live reading.
Yeah, so if anyone's at WonderCon, hunt us down.
Come by WonderCon. Yeah, well I think our panel's at like 1 or 2 or something like that with Geek and Sundry.
Yeah, I'd love to meet some of you guys.
Yeah, please. We love meeting you guys. Also, a gentleman named Eric found me in Vegas last week. And said that his son Eric Jr. couldn't be there, so I wanted to give you guys both a shout out. I got to talk to Eric a little bit. He's a nice guy. But next week, so we'll do WonderCon this week. But next week I'll be in St. Louis, where skibbity bop. Check this out. I'm doing a panel with Mike Coulter. Sweet Christmas. Then I'm also doing a Daredevil panel, talking with Charlie Cox, Eldon Henson, and John Bernthal. And then finally I get to talk to Elizabeth Henstridge on Sunday about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Ask her if she's Captain Marvel.
Are you Captain Marvel?
I just don't tell anybody.
No, don't tell anybody.
And just
but
ask
are you
that
Captain
over.
Marvel?
Like
Yeah.
I won't tell anyone. Just for my show, I got this whole show.
But seriously, are you Captain Marvel? So yeah, if you're in St. Louis or in the St. Louis area, please come out to Wizard World next weekend, April 1st, or Wizard World or WonderCon this week. Yeah. So anyway, that's our show. I'm Matt Key at the Matt Key.
I'm Coy Jandreau at Coy Jandreau. Pizza Parfait.
I'm Jaden at Jaden LaBelle on Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, all that good stuff.
And special thanks to our social media manager, Colt Bado, the unofficial 5th chair, tweeting from the Starjammer. Don't forget to subscribe to our show on iTunes, Marvel Movie News. Find us on YouTube, subscribe to us there. We're the Popcorn Talk Network. Find us on the Facebook / Marvel News Show, or on Twitter at Marvel News PTN. Thank you very much. Have a good week.
That was such a long show.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, Kristian Harloff, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of its owners or principals.
All right, hey. All right, good job, guys. Let's just not come in tomorrow. Let's just take a day.